there is a Qur'anic promise that could calm your fear, remove your sadness, and breathe strength into your heart, yet most people forget it every single day. It is not a complicated verse. It is not something that needs years of study. It is simply a promise from your Creator that whatever leaves your life was never meant for you, and whatever reaches you was written with wisdom, mercy, and perfect timing. Many of us panic when things fall apart, when jobs disappear, when people walk away, or when doors close. But the Quran has already told you, your Lord never takes without giving something better, never delays without purpose, and never burdens without preparing relief. Stay with me. Because once you remember this forgotten promise, you will never look at pain, loss, or delays the same way again. The promise that covers every pain. The truth is that every one of us walks through life carrying invisible weights that others cannot see. Some carry the weight of fear, some carry the weight of regret, and some carry the weight of dreams that feel too far away. Yet the Quran gives you a promise so comforting, so powerful, that if you allowed it to settle into your heart, your entire outlook on life would transform. It is the promise that nothing touches your life except what your Lord already knew, planned, and allowed with wisdom beyond your understanding. This promise is not simply a verse you read. It is a shield that surrounds your heart when everything around you feels uncertain. It is a reminder that the moment you cried, He knew. The moment you lost something you loved, He knew. The moment you felt alone, confused, or overwhelmed, He knew. And in every one of those moments, His promise was still active, still carrying you, still guiding you, even when you thought you were walking alone. Many people forget that their Lord has never once lost track of them. While the world gets busy, while people get distracted, while support fades, His attention never shifts away from you, not even for a second. The forgotten promise is that He's closer to you than the chaos you are drowning in. He's closer to you than the pain you bury. He's closer to you than the thoughts that keep you awake at night. This promise becomes clearer when you realize that everything you go through has a purpose. Your tears are not pointless. They soften your heart and bring you closer to your Creator. Your struggles are not punishments. They shape you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Your delays are not rejections. They are simply divine scheduling, waiting for the exact moment your heart is ready to receive what was written for you. And this is where most people forget the promise. They think pain means abandonment. They think hardship means punishment. They think unanswered prayers mean they are unseen. But in reality, every difficulty you experience is wrapped in guidance, mercy, and a hidden gift that you will only recognize later. The promise is that your Lord never burdens you beyond your capacity, never tests you without preparing you, and never allows something to be taken from your life unless something better is on its way. So if you remember this Qur'anic promise every morning and every night, your heart would become calmer, your mind would become clearer, and your soul would become stronger. You would learn to breathe through the hardship, knowing that what is written for you will never miss you, and what is not written for you will never reach you. This forgotten promise is the anchor that holds you steady when life tries to shake you. And once it enters your heart, nothing in this world can break you the same way again. The promise that protects your destiny. One of the most forgotten truths in our lives is that destiny is not in the hands of people, nor in the hands of circumstances, nor even in the hands of our own efforts. Destiny is written by the one who knows the past, the present, and the future, and whose knowledge surrounds every detail of your life. The Qur'anic promise that many forget is that nothing can reach you unless it was scripted for your soul long before you were born, and nothing can leave you unless it was never meant to stay. This promise becomes the strongest form of protection when life takes unexpected turns. Sometimes you loved someone deeply, yet the relationship ended. Sometimes you worked hard for an opportunity, yet it slipped away. Sometimes you planned your whole future around something, yet the path suddenly changed. In those moments, it is easy to blame yourself, to feel defeated, or to think the world is against you. But the forgotten promise tells you that what you lost was not yours, and what is truly yours will find you, even if it takes time, distance, or miracles. Many people look at loss as punishment, but destiny is not built on punishment, it is built on wisdom. You may not understand why a certain chapter closed in your life, but your Lord understands the danger that chapter would have brought. You may not understand why a dream was delayed, but your Lord understands the harm that dream would have caused if it arrived too early. You may not understand why someone was removed from your heart, but your Lord understands the pain their presence would have added to your journey. This promise protects you in ways you do not even recognize. There are blessings that arrive silently, and there are blessings that come disguised as rejection. Some of the greatest mercies in your life were things you cried about, things you questioned, things you thought were unfair. But if you look back now, you realize those moments pushed you toward better people, better choices, better opportunities, and a better version of yourself. The promise was working in silence even when you were breaking in tears. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam reminded us that whatever was written to reach you will never miss you, and whatever was written to miss you will never reach you. This is not a statement to remove effort from your life. It is a statement that brings peace into your heart. You can work, you can try, you can dream, you can plan, but the outcome will always be wrapped in divine wisdom. And that wisdom will never fail you. The forgotten promise also protects you from envy and comparison. When you truly internalize that, your provision, your opportunities, your relationships, your success, and your happiness are uniquely written for you, you will no longer look at what others have with a heavy heart. Instead, you will understand that everyone is on a different chapter, a different timeline, a different journey. Their blessings do not reduce yours, and their success does not block yours. If you hold this promise in your heart, you will begin to walk through life with a calm confidence. You will trust that every door that closed was protecting you from harm. You will trust that every delay was preparing you for something better. You will trust that every no was guiding you to the right, yes. And you will trust that your Lord, who controls everything, will never write a destiny for you that crushes your soul. You may not understand the unseen design behind your story today, but one day you will look back and realize that every twist, every pause, every heartbreak, and every change was part of a path that was built for your growth, your peace, and your ultimate good. This is the promise that protects your destiny stronger than any human plan, wiser than any human logic, and more loving than any human heart. The promise that turns delays into blessings. One of the hardest lessons for the human heart to accept is the timing of your Lord. We live in a world that teaches us to rush, to expect immediate answers, to chase instant results, and to feel frustrated when things do not appear the moment we want them. But the Qur'anic promise reminds you that every delay in your life carries a purpose, and every waiting season carries a blessing that you may not recognize until much later. The truth is that many people suffer not because their destiny is difficult, but because their patience is weak. They expect doors to open as soon as they knock. They expect healing as soon as they pray. And they expect clarity as soon as they feel confused. But your Lord does not operate on human schedules. He operates on the perfect schedule, one that aligns with your growth, your emotional readiness, your spiritual maturity, and the future that He sees and you do not. There are times when you asked for something with all your heart, convinced it was good for you, convinced it would make you happy, convinced nothing else could replace it. Yet time passed, prayers continued, and nothing changed. At that moment, many hearts break. Many minds question, but the forgotten promise tells you that the delay is not denial, the delay is preparation. Sometimes the thing you are asking for requires you to grow before you can receive it. Sometimes what you want will arrive, but in a version far better than what you imagined. Sometimes the delay saves you from a heartbreak that would have shattered you. Sometimes the delay leads you toward a blessing you did not even know you needed. Think of all the times in your life when you wanted something desperately, and today you are grateful you did not receive it. Think of the people who left when you begged for them to stay, yet now you thank your Lord because their absence made room for peace. Think of the opportunities you prayed for, yet when they slipped away, new doors opened that fit you perfectly. This is the beauty of divine timing. It protects you from what you cannot see. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us that a believer is amazed by the way destiny works for him. When something good reaches him, he is grateful, and that gratitude becomes a blessing. And when something difficult reaches him, he remains patient, and that patience becomes a blessing too. In other words, you never lose with your Lord. Whether He gives or delays, whether He opens or closes, whether He grants or waits, the promise remains the same. Everything that happens is for your good. The uncomfortable truth is that during the delay, your heart is being shaped. Your faith is being tested. Your trust is being strengthened. Your character is being refined. Every tear you shed in patience is lifting you. Every moment of frustration is polishing you. And every night you spend whispering to your Lord is transforming you from the inside. You may think nothing is happening, but the greatest changes often happen silently, beneath the surface, long before the blessing appears. And here is the most beautiful part. The blessing that comes after a long wait tastes different. It feels different. It settles into your heart differently. When you waited for something with patience, prayed for it consistently, trusted in the promise deeply, the moment it arrives, your gratitude becomes overwhelming. You realize that the delay was not only worth it, it was necessary. So the next time your heart becomes impatient, remind yourself of this Qur'anic promise. Remind yourself that if something was written for you, even the longest delay cannot stop it. And if something was never meant for you, even the fastest effort cannot bring it your way. Your timing is limited, but His timing is perfect. And anything built upon perfection can only bring goodness into your life. The promise that heals the wounds you hide. Every one of us carries wounds that the world does not see. Wounds from the past. Wounds from disappointment. Wounds from betrayal. Wounds from unspoken fears. And wounds caused by moments we never imagined we would go through. You may wake up and smile. You may meet people and laugh. But deep inside, there is a heaviness that only your Lord truly understands. This is where the forgotten Qur'anic promise becomes your greatest source of comfort. The promise that your pain is never ignored, never overlooked, and never wasted. Your Lord sees the moments you break quietly. He sees the nights when you hold your breath just to stop yourself from crying. He sees the hours where your mind is filled with thoughts you cannot share with anyone. People may misjudge you, misunderstand you, or overlook your emotions, but the one who created your heart knows exactly how to heal it. Many wounds in life feel like they cut too deep, but the promise of your Lord assures you that He never sends a hardship without sending equal or greater strength inside your soul. This means that even in the moments you feel weakest, you are actually being carried by a strength you do not realize you have. You think you are breaking, but in reality, you are being softened. You think you are falling apart, but in reality, you are being rebuilt. You think you are lost, but in reality, you are being guided toward a version of yourself that is more stable, more resilient, and more spiritually awake. It is often the wounds you hide that become the turning point of your life. Many people do not realize this until later. The heartbreak that shattered you taught you compassion. The loss that shook you taught you gratitude. The disappointment that broke your expectations taught you detachment. The betrayal that wounded you taught you wisdom. And the confusion that overwhelmed you taught you reliance upon your Creator in a way nothing else could. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us that the believer is never touched by pain, not even a thorn, except that it elevates him. This means that your suffering is not a sign that your Lord is displeased with you. It is a sign that He wants to raise you, cleanse you, and bring you closer to Him. Some wounds are not given to destroy you. They are given to redirect you. You may ask, why me? But the better question is, what is my Lord teaching me through this? Because behind every painful moment is a divine message. Sometimes it is a lesson, sometimes it is protection, sometimes it is purification, and sometimes it is preparation for a blessing so great that the wound becomes necessary. There are wounds you hid from everyone, yet you never hid them from your Creator. The tear that fell in silence was seen. The heartbreak that no one understood was known. The loneliness you kept inside was heard. And every one of those moments was written not to break you, but to awaken parts of you that would have stayed asleep if life had always been easy. There will come a day when you look back and realize that the pain you begged to be removed was the pain that shaped your character, sharpened your wisdom, and opened doors you never expected. You will realize that the wound was not a barrier, it was a bridge. It carried you from who you thought you were to the person you were meant to become. So, when your heart feels heavy, remind yourself of the promise. Your Lord never abandons a heart that calls upon Him. He never ignores a broken soul that turns to Him. And He never leaves a believer wounded without planting inside that wound the seeds of a greater healing. This is the healing found only in the promise of your Lord, a healing that is gentle, a healing that is deep, a healing that reaches places no human words can reach. And once you taste that healing, you will understand why every wound had wisdom, the promise that rebuilds your life. There comes a point in every person's life when everything feels like it is collapsing at the same time. You look around and nothing looks familiar anymore. The people you trusted change. The plans you built fall apart. The dreams you held close begin to fade. And you stand there wondering how your life reached this point. But this is exactly where the forgotten Qur'anic promise begins to shine the brightest. the promise that your Lord never breaks you without preparing to rebuild you in a far better way. Many people fear being broken, but they do not realize that some forms of breaking are blessings in disguise. A heart that never breaks never grows. A soul that never struggles never discovers its strength. A person who never falls never learns how to rise. The promise of your Lord is not that He will prevent you from every hardship. His promise is that every hardship will nourish you, strengthen you, transform you, and rebuild you in ways ease never could. Look back at the moments you thought were the end for you. Look back at the night you cried believing there was no way forward. Look back at the time you felt useless, lost, or forgotten. Yet today, you stand with more wisdom, more resilience, more clarity, and more appreciation than you had before. This is not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. And that strength did not appear out of nowhere. It was placed inside you by the one who promised that after every hardship, there is ease. When your Lord takes something from your life, He does not do so to empty you. He does it to make space for something better. Sometimes He removes people who were draining your peace. Sometimes He removes opportunities that were never meant for your future. Sometimes He removes comfort so you move toward growth. Sometimes He removes a chapter so He can write a new one with more beauty than you imagined. But the rebuilding process is not always obvious. There are seasons in life where it looks like nothing is improving. You pray and see no result. You try and see no progress. You hope and see no change. And this is where many hearts begin to weaken. But remember, a seed planted in the soil looks buried, not growing. A tree in winter looks dead, not preparing to bloom. Your Lord is rebuilding you in silence, at a pace perfectly aligned with your future. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam reminded us that when your Lord loves someone, He tests them. This does not mean He wants to hurt you. It means He wants to elevate you. Just like a diamond is shaped through pressure, just like gold is purified through fire, the believer's heart is shaped through moments that feel overwhelming. But the result is always beautiful, always polished, always elevated. Rebuilding begins the moment you stop seeing your pain as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. It begins the moment you accept that your old life had to fall apart for your new life to begin. It begins the moment you realize that nothing was taken from you except what would have held you back. It begins the moment you finally understand that everything written for you is designed to lift you, not break you. There will come a day when you look at your story and say, if that moment had not happened, I would not be who I am today. There will come a day when the pain you survive becomes the strength you inspire others with. There will come a day when you realize that your Lord was rebuilding your foundation while you thought everything was falling apart. The promise stands. Your Lord never tears down a believer's life without planning to rebuild it with more wisdom, more beauty, more stability, and more purpose. You may not see the blueprint yet, but the construction has already begun. And once the rebuilding is complete, you will look back at your hardships not with bitterness, but with gratitude, because they played the exact role needed to lead you toward the life written for you, the promise that guides you back to peace. There comes a stage in every believer's journey where the heart begins to feel tired, not just tired from the world, but tired from carrying burdens for too long. You try to be strong, you try to be patient, you try to keep smiling, but inside you feel a quiet exhaustion that words cannot describe. This is when the forgotten Qur'anic promise becomes the rope that pulls you back from the edge. The promise that your Lord is closer to you than your pain, closer to you than your thoughts, and closer to you than every worry that keeps you awake at night. Many people believe that peace is something they will feel once life becomes easier. They tell themselves, I will be calm when my problems disappear, or I will be happy when the situation changes. But the forgotten promise teaches you the opposite. Peace does not come from a perfect life. It comes from a heart that trusts the one who controls life. Even when the world is chaotic, even when nothing makes sense, even when you feel like everything is slipping from your hands, your Lord never leaves you. He guides you gently, patiently, and lovingly toward what your soul needs. Sometimes this guidance comes in the form of a blessing. Sometimes it comes in the form of a delay. Sometimes it comes in the form of a test. And sometimes it comes in the form of silence. But every form of guidance has one purpose: to bring you back to your Creator in a way nothing else could. There are moments in life when you feel distant from your Lord, not because you dislike faith, but because the weight of your struggles makes you feel disconnected. You are praying, but your heart feels numb. You are making dua, but you are not feeling the same connection you once had. You are trying your best, but you feel spiritually drained. This is where many people panic, thinking they are failing in their faith, but the forgotten promise reminds you that your Lord is near even when you do not feel Him. Faith is not measured by emotions. It is measured by consistency, sincerity, and the effort you make even when your heart feels heavy. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us that your Lord is more merciful to you than a mother is to her child. Imagine a mother seeing her child crying, she would rush, she would comfort, she would hold. Now imagine the one whose mercy is beyond human imagination. How could He leave you lost? How could He ignore your sadness? How could He not guide you when guidance is what your heart desperately needs? Your Lord guides you back to peace in ways you do not always notice. He guides you through the friend who encourages you. He guides you through the reminder that comes at the perfect moment. He guides you through a verse you read randomly that suddenly speaks directly to your heart. He guides you through a hardship that forces you to return to Him. He guides you even through the pain you are trying to escape, because sometimes pain is the only language the soul understands when it needs to wake up. And here is the truth most people forget. Guidance is not always soft. Sometimes guidance comes wrapped in difficulty. Your Lord might close a door because you were walking toward harm. He might remove someone because their presence was damaging your soul. He might allow you to feel lost, so you search for Him with a sincerity you never had before. He might shake your life not to destroy you, but to rebuild your heart in a way comfort never could. This is why the believer who understands the promise walks through life with a different kind of strength. He knows that every chapter has wisdom. He knows that every challenge has purpose. He knows that every loss has meaning. He knows that the one guiding him can never mislead him. And so even in the deepest confusion, he holds on to the rope of hope. Peace is not found when life becomes perfect. Peace is found when the heart remembers who is in control. Peace enters when you finally realize that you are never walking alone, never crying alone, never hurting alone. Peace arrives the moment you surrender your fears to the one who has promised to guide you as long as you seek Him. Your Lord is guiding you right now, even through this reminder. He is guiding you through every tear you shed, through every question you whisper, through every moment you felt weak but still tried to move forward. That effort is a sign of His love for you. That strength is a sign of His support. That inner pull toward Him is a sign that He never left your side. And when your journey ends and you look back at the story of your life, you will realize that the promise never failed you, not once. You will see that every hardship carried a wisdom, every tear carried a message, and every moment of confusion carried a hidden gift. The promise did not protect you from pain, it guided you through it. And it guided you toward a peace that no worldly comfort could ever give. If there is one message you carry with you after this reminder, let it be this. Your life is not a collection of accidents. Your story is not a mistake. Your pain is not a punishment. Your delays are not failures. Every moment, every joy, every tear, every loss, every rise has been written with purpose, wrapped in mercy, and guided by a Lord who has never stopped taking care of you. The Qur'anic promise you keep forgetting is the very promise that has carried you to this moment. The promise that your Lord hears you even when your voice shakes. The promise that He sees you even when the world overlooks you. The promise that He strengthens you even when you feel weak. The promise that He rebuilds you even when life breaks you. The promise that He guides you even when you feel lost. And the promise that He will never abandon a heart that turns back to Him. Remember, peace does not come when life becomes perfect. Peace comes when your heart trusts the one who controls life. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us that your Lord is more merciful to you than any human on this earth. So how could He write a destiny for you that leads to darkness? How could He leave you hopeless when He is the source of all hope? How could He allow you to fall without preparing a rise greater than what you imagine? Tonight, when you place your head on your pillow, remind yourself of this. Everything you went through brought you closer to who you are meant to become. Everything that left your life made room for something better. Everything that broke you is now shaping you. Everything that confused you is now guiding you. And everything you are praying for is already on its way, arriving at the perfect time. Hold this promise tightly. Keep it alive in your heart. And whenever fear whispers, whenever doubt rises, whenever sadness returns, remind your soul, your Lord has never failed you, and He will not start today. May this forgotten promise live inside you long after this video ends. May it soothe your heart, strengthen your steps, and fill your life with clarity, peace, and unshakable trust. Until the next reminder, stay hopeful, stay patient, and stay connected to the one who has promised to guide you through every moment of your journey.